Hey, good morning, Patriots. It's Monday. It is Monday because it's like daylight savings Monday, and we're all disoriented. It's like waking up on the street after being drunk 5 days and having Burger King fries at your feet, a McDonald's fillet of fish in your hand, and a big old sombrero full of cactus. So it's like that for me anyway, because I was in LA over the weekend, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Before I fall over from exhaustion from the time change, let's bring in Chris Cordani. Chris, are you suffering from the time change as I am?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, I just had to get up nice bright and early at 4 o'clock this morning because Karen does that. You know, when I first did when I first worked with Karen on the show, she told me she gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, how do you even do that? I used to do that when I was a paper boy.
Well, I'm disoriented too because as y'all might know, if you follow me on my social media, I was in LA. Living large with the Clampetts, right? And their cement pond and everything. No, I wasn't with the Clampetts, but I was with Susan Olsen. Susan Olsen from the Brady Bunch. There is John Ford Coley, Bob Hayes, Robert Hayes, Robert. Don't call me Shirley. And myself. I'm doing my best Tim Walls manly look there. Can you see that? I'm just like let's do our manly look.
It's awesome, and you have the flag pin on. And you know what? John Ford Coley did say that he wanted to meet you so badly. He said he really wanted to see you that night.
He did, and he sung it. And there we are. There's so for those who follow us as us as a family, because that was a family event. There's Cherie, Bob, and me. Bob and Chris would have been there too. I mean, Chris is part of the family. Is what I'm trying to say. It's just Chris couldn't make it.
Yeah,
but I'm saying that we are all actually a family, and it was a blast. And the Bob Hayes thing, Cherie actually, I found a autopilot. You saw there a second ago, right, Chris? You saw autopilot there.
Yep. As a matter of fact, John Ford Coley did post the video on that.
Did he really? Oh, he did. That's right. He took a video of that. Go ahead. I didn't know. I saw you had something on that.
Yes,
is it up?
It was fun. I have that up because John Ford Coley actually posted. I was like,
"Oh,
this is hilarious!" I'm like, I'm surprised you didn't send me this, and it was really cool.
I haven't got to it. I got a dozen of these things.
All right.
Here we go.
So
okay, go ahead.
So
go ahead. Our
here it is. Moment. Here it is.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah, Gina. So, and this is someone who almost eclipsed you in fame. Is that close? That's a good clue. Yeah. Almost eclipsed you in fame.
Billy Barty.
Hey, Billy Barty is cool, by the way.
Anyway, but without further ado,
Paul Williams.
No, he's anyway. But without further ado, Bob, and with full knowledge that this could put me in jail because
yeah, be careful, Tony.
Ready? Here from
Do
Bora
it gently.
is.
Might...
Nice, huh?
Hey, don't call me Shirley.
Oh, he had to get it in there.
And don't call me Shirley.
Oh, that's Bob, funny. Otto wanted to come say hello to you on this special Halloween.
It's really cool. So he posted it on
so that I didn't know John had posted that. We've been going. John, by the way, one of the coolest people on earth is John Ford Coley. John is just chill. If you see people in Hollywood who act chill, no. He is chill. He is the epitome of chill. So God bless you, John. Thanks for posting that. I haven't seen that yet because I was obviously talking and presenting. But suffice it to say, as I was getting into the story, Cherie, I was talking to Cherie about, hey, I found Otto online. And she said, oh my God, bring him out. And so I have a second copy of that. I've got one here in the house. I had Bob sign one for me. And for those who don't know, Chris, he played Ted Stryker, right? In the airplane. And so I was Chris Stryker in Afghanistan. Oh, I shouldn't say that. That's technically not.
Oh,
I shouldn't be talking about that. Anyway, Ted Stryker and Chris Stryker. That's dynamite. So he actually signed it. One of the Stryker brothers, my autopilot. So it's very nice of him to do that. So anyway, so Robert Hayes, Bob Hayes. Bob's just an amazing American. So it was a good time was had by all, to include Otto, and Otto is now finding a new home. Talking about adapting, Otto. He's going to live on the beach with Bob now in Hawaii. Who wouldn't want that for a lost friend, right?
exactly. Hawaii would be great, except for the crazy senator there, but
Well,
crazy senators.
yeah.
But that's a different
She may
story
get
for a
washed
different
out
day.
with the tide. Who knows? So
Yeah.
anyway.
And here's a performance from the
Oh,
Whiskey a Go Go, as filmed by
oh
by
yeah, here we
somebody.
are. I was
John Ford
backstage,
Foley.
by the way. I'm going to be I'll be posting some stuff from backstage, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, well, obviously playing would be a little rough because of copyright, but I'm going to play this in the background. They were singing back there. It was really cool, and it
Well,
looked
I
like
don't
you
think you're
guys had
going
a
to get
blast.
strikes from John or from Cherie. Just saying, I don't think
Well,
you're going to get strikes from them.
yeah. Well, I'm just gonna play it safe on the YouTube thing because
All right.
YouTube is what YouTube is, and that's
I
that's
know,
where this
I know.
came from.
Well, anyway, by the way, she did play our theme, Chris.
Oh,
She
cool.
played from the Hard Truth, which is our radio program. She played Rock and Roll Oblivion with the original artist in it. It was really cool. I will post. I don't care about copyrights. Just saying.
Oh,
I will have all of this stuff up on my social media eventually. So I was backstage. When you see the stage there, if you are facing me, and I'm on stage, I'm up on the in the left, overlooking everything. So anyway, I've posted some of that on my social media. If people want to go look at it at Facebook. And I got our friend Susan Olson. Susan
yeah.
was there. We're gonna have Susan on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Susan and Josh will be back with us on Wednesday. So will Angie. So we're doing a post-game analysis on Wednesday morning.
So, and I don't know if you pulled it up, but Susan was wearing a MAGA
Yeah.
beanie. So that was really cool.
You know,
So,
she'd look cool
anyway.
in a Tim Pool beanie.
Yeah.
She should get one of those. That would look really cool on her.
And before we go, so I'm wearing the Cherie Curry special T-shirt. Only 200 are made. So if you want to get one of these, you better get it soon. And here's the back of it. I'll just get it out there for people to see. There it is. Can you all see that? There you go. Yeah, it was fun. And let me give out the address. If you want one of these, and by the way, these are Cherie's T-shirts. She did these. It's Cherie, Cherie, Curry, Currie, store, STORE, all one word. Cherie Curry store at gmail.com. I think they're $20 each. I think it's a great buy. I've got several, obviously, and I'm going to order more. So you better get them before I get them, or else. Just saying. So
Yeah, I'm getting one too. So you want to get that before me too. If you don't want to be number 201.
yeah,
That's
you
the
don't.
worst for me.
But anyway, so there's limited edition. Obviously, I don't get anything out of it. I'm just saying because I love Cherie and she's a great artist. She supports us. Did I say she's a conservative? Just saying. So,
She's
not
cool.
that it should matter. All art is good art. But man, oh man, it was a great show, a great night. Boy, we senior citizens had a hard time staying up, Chris. I mean, I'm 62, and man, you can't stay up to 3 a.m. anymore like you used to. It just wears you out.
Yeah, what'd you do? Close down the place at 10 p.m. or something like that? That's what we do now.
Well, it's funny because it's funny you say that because I mean you're younger than me, but I'm just saying you start getting older and it's tougher to stay. So Cherie's set. Well, first off, Jake is actually the lead singer of Maudlin Strangers. Jake is Maudlin Strange. That's Jake. Jake, her son, right there. That's Jake Hayes. So Jake, her son, and Bob's son. The takes two to make the world go right. Right? Remember that song?
Right.
So Jake is their son. Anyway, so he started at 10:30, and then we went from there. So it was late. I mean, and then of course, you see John Ford Coley. John is older than all of us. Cherie's no spring chicken, although she's springier than I am. But
She looks younger
anyway,
than
I
us.
digress.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so we got going, and it was almost 2 by the time we got out of there. Just saying, it was a late night.
There we go. So there are a lot of things that did happen. We have two very special guests today, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have Christopher Martini, who is the director and producer, as well as creator of the new documentary, "The Man You Don't Know," and that's about Donald Trump. A lot of people don't realize Donald Trump is more than the character he plays on television. He's a great
Yes.
philanthropist. He is probably, I mean, a lot of this is probably a redemption arc for him too, trying to leave a good legacy. As a I'll say politician, but he's not a career politician. You also have Barry Morganstein, so we're going to have a lot of fun today, and it's going to be a great week for all of us. But I will say this: probably the greatest, most unfortunate quote of the home stretch came from Doug Emhoff.
Oh no, not Doug.
He's the epitome of manliness, by the way. But here is what he said at a recent
I
pro
know,
Kamala
this is
rally.
great.
Kamala did what Kamala always does. She just put her head down and she went to work.
I think that's
That's
an
right.
unfortunate choice of words for Kamala Harris.
That's right. No, Willie Brown endorses that comment.
Well, not only does Willie Brown endorse that comment, apparently she got another big endorsement from Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah.
And so I guess this birds of a feather flock together here. But
Well, she's got Cardi B too. That WAP thing. Just saying.
that's right. Well, not only that, think about this. Note, it's funny. Insurrection Barbie put this up about on her her ex post. Kamala Harris's endorsements. What do you see? What's in common here as far as these recent pop culture pop star endorsements? What do you see?
I think they're all the top users of Johnson and Johnson's baby oil. I think they like corner the market.
There we go. And I'm sure they used it at Diddy's parties because now this is a funny thing. You might say these are photo ops and everything, but these are people attending parties with Diddy. And
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. A lot of people who I see endorsing Kamala Harris in the last couple of weeks, including that Cardi B who said she wasn't going to endorse anybody.
Yeah, because she was like figuring out that things were bad and it caused them. So, but I hear that several $1 million changes people's minds. Just saying. Apparently,
this is what I'm saying here. I believe that,
Yeah.
and I believe that. We all know about Beyonce. Now, here's my question to you:
Oh.
Are these people afraid? Because these people they're acting desperate right now. They're saying they're saying Trump's going to go after people. Blah blah blah. Democracy is going to end. It's been worse. Pulling out the pop stars, but all these pop stars seem to again hanging out with Diddy. It seems to be, do these people have something to hide? Are they afraid that corruption is going to be found out, and are they afraid that certain Epstein and Diddy lists or certain people on the Epstein and Diddy list will be let's just say exposed?
well, I mean, when you go to Costco and your biggest purchase is two pallets of baby oil, that's a clue. Just saying. And then beyond that, though, yeah, of course. Look, these people are buyable. They're gettable and forgettable too. But that's another story. I think these people. And by the way, Chris, and for the Patriots, is holding people accountable for felony wrongdoing, revenge. I'm asking for a friend. I mean, seriously, is that something that we're supposed to ignore? That if people were abusive, if they rape people, if they traffic children, we're supposed to just say, "Oh, never mind." So if Trump goes after them, I think there's probably a reason for it, right, Chris? I mean, am I missing something?
Well, this is again another idea, another way to demonize those who go after child traffickers, who go after the let's just say the less scrupulous crowd as far as Hollywood. There are some really interesting things that are going to be exposed. And I know we talked about this with Dr. Corsi last week in Silicon Valley. This is all we all know. It's part of Hollywood. We all know all this stuff is out there. And funny, somebody like Donald Trump who has nothing to lose. He doesn't owe anybody, and he already knows they're after him. Might as well, when he's there, expose the crap that's going on and open the American people's eyes at this point. This not Trump's policies. This is what they're afraid of.
Yeah. Well, accountability, and this is why we've talked about amongst us girls here that basically there's the deep state and the permanent state, the permanent bureaucracy, which are not the same. They're very close related. One is not, one is very similar but not the same. They're close. They interchange. They interlock. And then the Democrat Party, and then of course the media complex, and I include Hollywood. Hollywood is part of that. Now,
Yes.
not our part of Hollywood, just saying. I mean, right, Chris? I mean, there's a distinction with a difference. Our Hollywood team and the deep state team are different teams, right, Chris? Back me up.
Right. Yeah, yes, you're 100% right. There are people who are sort of on the outskirts of all of that. As a matter of fact, Tim Allen is among those who are going after ABC over bias, by the way,
Yeah.
the ABC network.
Yeah,
So
good.
we do
No,
have some.
that's
We have the Gary Sinises and Jim Caviezel's of the world, but these guys are brave morally. They still, though, however, had to stay quiet for a long time to keep work.
There's still people quiet out there. Trust me. There's
But
people I still can't bring on the show. You know that. I mean,
you know,
Patriots know that too, because
remember
there's just
Kelsey
some people
Grammer?
who really are mainstream stars who want to work, and I get it. I get it. They got to make a living. You know,
Well, look,
I'm sure they'll come out eventually.
I'm going to predict that Zachary Levi is not going to be in any movies or major Hollywood blockbusters anytime soon. Possibly even another Shazam movie.
I think it's true. It
I,
wouldn't
I,
be a loss.
I honestly believe that. Look, as I said, even smaller guys like Jay Johnston were blackballed after just being at January 6th and walking in to the Capitol building, public property,
Yeah.
mind you, by it being what was it by after being invited.
Yeah.
He was
And I see.
blacklisted.
Yeah. And speaking of blacklist, I see people are starting to talk about Peanut in the chat. So just everybody to understand, we do sympathize with Peanut. There's a that whole thing should never have happened. I don't want
Right.
to. I don't know if you, Chris, you want to talk about that real briefly, but
Sure.
the travesty of Peanut is real. People are I think rightfully posting about it, but when you have literally a Nazi, you can see she's like the reincarnation of a Nazi concentration camp guard. I mean that you can go to my feed and see pictures. And you have a regulatory state. And by the way, Chris, you're there, right? Are you afraid at your house and take your stuff? I mean, these people are like Nazis. There he is.
No, they're horrible people, and they don't care because they snuffed out a life just because they didn't like it. That's the whole point. It's horrible. That's what these people are like. That, my friends, is what we're voting against, by the way.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I mean, that's where we're talking about revenge. Look, I think the state of New York's due some revenge by the folks who did this, because in most places, do you know that having a pet that's considered a wild animal is a fine? They fine you. It's an administrative issue. It's not a criminal issue. Did you know that?
It's actually it is true because one is not allowed to have wild or certain exotic pets unless they have a special license, I believe, in New York.
Right.
And there are some collectors who do that. The thing is, though, some of them do pose a danger. This little guy didn't pose any danger to anybody, though, to be honest with you.
Well, that's the point. Is
Right.
that in a sane world, they would have said, "Dude, you owe us back money. You need to apply for a license."
Maybe
but
they
no.
thought he was a threat to democracy.
Well, apparently. I mean, who knows what Peanut was hiding in his little, pouches and stuff. Those maybe he had Russians. Do you think he was hiding Russians under his pile of leaves in the backyard there? Maybe that's what it was. You think he's a Russian collusionist?
No, I believe it was Gopher disinformation.
Go for disinformation. That's right. Where is Fred Grandy when you need him? Right.
Now, speaking of
there's
disinformation,
Vampirilla.
before our guests come on, our guests are ready, but before they come on, I just want to play
good.
this little clip from Governor Hochul, because you guys, a lot of you, I understand, are not from New York. Some of you are. You don't really know what we have to deal with. This is a woman who makes me miss Andrew Cuomo. That's how bad it is. So here she is on MSNBC telling us that we are anti-woman and anti-American if we don't vote for Kamala Harris.
Oh, boy.
It gave me a chance to tie the Republicans running these seats, the incumbents, closer to Donald Trump, and remind everybody, if you're voting for these Republicans in New York, you are voting for someone who supports Donald Trump, and you're anti-woman, you're anti-abortion, and basically you're anti-American.
I want to address the anti-woman part. This is a big thing about the big thing the Democrats try to pull off on us. We first off, Trump and Trump supporters are not anti-woman. I would argue the opposite. I would argue the Democrats are anti-woman for the simple reason that how many women are being murdered by these illegals that are coming, illegal criminals coming in there, as the Democrats like to put it, rape culture, bringing that to America and picking any woman 12 years old and up, sometimes even down, raping and murdering them. Okay,
Well, let me
keeping
point
these
let me
people
point
out
out the
protect
obvious.
women. Right.
Yeah, let me point the obvious out, Chris, to your point. I mean, they can't define what a woman is. There's been several events where they've been pressed. What is a woman? Oh, they can't. They won't answer that because they are anti-woman. To your point. And oh, by the way, if you have a guy who basically has a penis, just saying, guys have penises, right? Right, Chris? Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Right.
Just saying, I don't care if you want to dress like a girl, if you want to put makeup on like a girl, if you want to put a onesie on and show
Onesie.
all your pieces, you're
Oh,
still a guy. You're
yeah,
still
but
a guy.
please,
I'm
yeah, but
just
please
saying,
don't
you're
put
still
the
a guy.
onesie
I
on.
don't care. But my point being that Hochul does not subscribe to the men wearing onesies because they're women. She thinks they're all women. So it's the opposite of what Hochul of Vampirilla is saying. You don't have a shot of her from her starring role in Deep Space Nine. I mean, Plan 9 from Outer Space. By the way, I'm getting people turned on to that movie. That's a great movie. That was her debut. By the way, I don't know if people know, but she was just spectacular. I mean, if you're going to be in a bad movie, be in the worst bad movie that's so bad it becomes a classic, right? I mean, if you're going to, as Captain Willard said in Apocalypse Now, don't get off the boat unless you're going to go all the way. And man, oh man, did she
I was
went
thinking,
all the way.
well, I was thinking about what you said about that, and you know, I remember Cannibal Women from the Avocado Jungle of Death, where we had Bill Maher was in that
That
one.
sounds
So,
tasty. That sounds
well,
tasty.
that
Yeah.
that was such a great B movie that Shannon Tweed and Adrienne Barbeau were both in it, and Bill Maher was
And they
the
both
male
got
lead.
naked at some point. I'm supposed. I presume. I didn't see the movie. I'm
Well,
just
yeah,
saying
that
that's
wasn't on the
typical.
TV version, but yes. Anyway, here you go with Kathy
There she
Hochul on
is.
Plan 9 from
There's
Outer
Governor
Space.
Hochul in her first run for office. I guess it didn't turn out that well, but at least she got some good B-roll out of it, right?
Well, I'll
Yeah,
tell you
yeah.
what, she wears her makeup a lot better in this movie.
She does. And
Yeah.
look, see, there's less wrinkles in that shot. I mean, she was younger. You can tell that she's younger. Maybe not. She's a vampire, so I don't know how do you tell the age of a vampire? You got to cut them open and cut the rings, I guess, right? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So I got to do a read because otherwise I will get in trouble. Which by the way, Ed has been watching the show, so our overlord is watching. Just
And we're not in
saying.
trouble yet.
we will be in trouble for the end of the show. I can tell you that for sure. There's very few things I can predict, but that's one thing I can predict. Anyway, here we go. We are here because of the good auspices of Paul Stone and his team over at Colonial Metals Group. So Colonial Metals is your one-stop shop to get advice regarding alternatives to currency. And I don't mean the electrical kind of currency you get, although if it wasn't for currency like current, we'd not be here. But currency, well, you can't depend on that. You got to depend on other things besides currency, and gold and silver will do that for you. So look at how you can diversify your portfolio of what you have to protect you and your family. You and your family are worth protecting. If not now, then when? Well, when is now, and do it now. I sound like Kamala Harris all of a sudden. Chris, what happened? Did I take a Kamala Harris pill this morning or something?
Well, you may have
anyway.
your order of word salad didn't have any shrimp.
That's right. Well, there's no word salad here. There's a silver and gold salad. That's what you need to go for. Go for the gold, right? Right, Chris? Go for the,
yes.
Go for the
gold.
Go for the salad gold. That's right. Get in, get on it. Don't put your head down like Kamala. I'm not saying that.
Ouch.
I'm not saying that at all. I did not say that.
Hoff.
But I'm saying put your head, get your head into it.
Oh,
Get your head around the concept.
Theo.
Get your head into the concept of buying gold and silver. Do it now. Tell him that Ed Henry sent you, because you got to go to his site. You got to use his name. colonialmetalsgroup.com/Ed-Henry. Again, that's https / colonialmetalsgroup, all one word, .com/Ed-Henry. You can't go wrong. You won't go wrong. You'll go right. And that's the best way to go. And otherwise, call them at 800-805-4034, 805-4034. We'll probably, is Paul coming on tomorrow, or is he off again this week?
Paul will join us tomorrow, and
Great.
that's
So
gonna be great.
he'll speak for himself, and we'll talk about the economic challenges we will all face no matter what happens. Things go right or wrong tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday, the day we vote, or I've already voted. Chris, have you voted yet, or are you still hanging back?
I voted because I just wanted to see what it was like to do early voting for once. I like to vote on the day, just because I keep people on their toes. But this time I want to see. I want to tell you something about early voting in New York.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, you were not here on Wednesday, I believe. I said.
No, did they make you take your clothes off or something? I hear they
No,
make
I
you
said this
strip
to Angie and the Patriots. There was a man who walked around the lines. There was a long line around the building, walked around the lines and told everybody who was early voting that made it a point to make sure that they did not need to give their IDs or show their IDs out. And he made it a point. So I'm positive this guy was doing it all day, but when I was there, he did it, and he made that announcement. He several times the same line, stopping every few people and repeating what he was saying. So that's what happened.
Really?
Yes. Not good. But that's it. So basically they're telling you, hey, you know what? You could say you could tell me, you could be whoever you want to be, dead, alive, illegal, whatever you want to be. You don't have to show your ID. So
speaking of people who are alive, there's Barry. Good morning, Barry.
Hey guys, good to see you again.
He's live, and he does the best to capture those people who are alive. By the way, Barry, I appreciate the fact that most people you photograph are alive. I think that's a good thing. That's a plus.
Absolutely. They pay better.
Yeah, and so there was no dead people in line with Chris, I don't think. Is that what you're saying, Chris? There was no dead people in line with you?
Well, I believe. How do we know? They don't have to show their IDs.
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. I wasn't there.
I could see a few ghosts there. There were a few ghosts there. They tried to
So the strip search thing is false. They don't make you take your clothes off at the entrance before you vote, do they? That's a different state.
They made me do a cavity search.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different.
Yeah.
So, well, I would imagine that was Oakland. Speaking of people who hopefully didn't have any problems with being strip searched, is Christopher Martini. Christopher, welcome to Wake Up Patriots. And there's no body searches, and there's no cavity searches here. Just saying. So, welcome to the show.
No, I did not get searched. Thank you for having me, you guys. I did have. I've also voted in New York, in Brooklyn. That's where I live. And I had a strange thing happen to me also. We could talk about that later, or whenever you guys want.
We will. We'd like to talk about that. So, welcome. You're a newcomer to the Patriots. Patriots are checking in. We're chatting with them right now. We're going through all things that happened over the past weekend, and you're going to be talking about some very interesting things. By the way, before we get off, but since Barry's a New Yorker and I've spent a lot of time in New York, what part of Brooklyn are you from or in?
Well, I'm originally from Texas, Dallas, Texas, but my parents were divorced. My father moved here in the 70s. He was an artist. So I've been in New York pretty much my whole life. But I live in Park Slope. I actually live on the border of Windsor Terrace and Park Slope. I like to say Windsor Terrace because that's where all the cops and firemen are. Park Slope is like sort of all the Harris Walls supporters, So I like to say I live in Windsor Terrace. It's more working class.
Yeah, it's good. So I spent some time up in that area. I work with the NYPD, and they have a site. I don't want to say where it's at, but it's in Brooklyn. It's their kind of off-site location. I spent some time there, and then also one of my first assignments undercover as a counterintelligence special agent doing counterterrorism stuff was actually Fort Hamilton in OPSAIL 86 when we were actually doing counterterrorism stuff with the NYPD. By the way, the counterterrorism task force to stop. To protect the Statue of Liberty reopening after it was rebuilt. So that was, man, oh man, I was pretty young back in '86. It was quite the adventure, just saying. So I can only imagine, what it's like to be there full time. But I digress. It's good to have you here, Christopher. And then obviously Barry is the photographer to the stars. So Barry, Barry posted a couple of cool photos of everybody. Every couple of days, he posts a couple of cool photos on Facebook and all that. So. We always appreciate it. And by the way, again, Barry, thank you for that great shot of David Bowie. I saw my friend Cherie Curry over the weekend, and I gave her that T-shirt with Bowie on it. So
that was so cool seeing her wear I grew up with the Runaways, so seeing Sherry wearing my Bowie shirt was pretty cool. So
That is very cool. Yes.
Yeah.
By the way,
and we'll, go ahead.
I do want to add this, Christopher, because we have the Patriots asking about the latest documentary, some of them. So the latest documentary from Chris is The Man You Don't Know. It's now streaming on for free on X, by the way. You can check that out right here or check it out on the website, themanyouDon'tknow.com. It's about Donald Trump. And again, the media likes to tell you a lot of things about him, forgetting that he's a great philanthropist, forgetting that he's done a lot of good things for a lot of good people, and forgetting that, well, policy-wise, he was his presidency was positive. I would suppose, and a lot of this is in his documentary. A good thing to watch, and we'll be talking about that too.
So yeah, Christopher, we'll go into that. I just want to. There's a couple of personal notes regarding Donald Trump. First off, how many presidents would take time to meet an 18-year-old who voted for him for the first time? Well, Donald Trump's one of those. My son, who literally just turned 18, voted for him for the first time. He met Donald Trump at a rally over in Greenville. 18-year-old kid brought up and met the president. And I can only imagine. I get shivers thinking about it, about how cool that was for him to go do that. But that's who Trump is. He actually takes the time to talk to folks, to meet folks, and do those hard things. Not spoken about, and I was prohibited when I was part of the campaign. I'm not part of the campaign now, but when I was part of the 2020 campaign, I wanted to talk about one of his acts of I don't know what you want to call it. He was at the 9/11 memorial, and I don't want to take your thunder away, but I want to throw this in there, Christopher. He and Hillary Clinton had done a tour of the 9/11 memorial back in 2016, and that's the one where Hillary basically becomes like a plank, and they had to shove her into the Scooby van. She was all kind of all wackadoodle. Which I think I was her Secret Service name, wasn't it, Chris? Wackadoodle. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back on topic.
Hey-o.
Anyway, that day is when they were both touring, and she was there. And I got this from a curator who was at the museum. Hillary Clinton came in, looked around. She was gone in 10 minutes. Trump comes in. He's there for an hour and a half, walking, looking at everything. At the end of the tour, he takes his checkbook out and says, here's a check for $1 million. I love this museum. Do what you want with this $1 million. Don't tell anybody I wrote it. That's Donald Trump I know. So
That's
over
amazing.
to you.
He has, that was the biggest takeaway from making this movie is that, for me, because I met him twice with we premiered my last film, The Relentless Patriot. And by the way, I owe this all to Barry. I'll tell you guys the story. But, my last film, The Relentless Patriot, we premiered at Mar-a-Lago. I met him there. And then I met him again at Mar-a-Lago for this movie. He has like superhuman strength. The night that he came to our premiere, he had been at North Carolina at a rally. And then he shows up at our premiere at Mar-a-Lago at 11 p.m. and he's talking to a room of like 500 people. And the most incredible thing is like, he remembers people's names, he remembers the names of like mothers who lost soldiers. And, it's like Joe Biden's probably like, hey, whatever, and like Trump, like remembers you. That's when you see this film, you'll see like all the incredible things he's done. And it's, I don't even know how old he is. However old he is at that age, just, to have done all these remarkable things in his life and still at this age have this capacity that he can, he outdoes like young people, so like, it's crazy because like even me making movies, I'm a director, I meet all these people, I have people sending me scripts and books and stuff, and like sometimes I forget people's names, and like it's exhausting.
I can't remember names. Yeah.
I don't know how he does it. He's not human. He's definitely he's sent to us to fix this country. So, the left hate it, but there's a spiritual aspect to this movie also. And that's why we're getting ripped on IMDb and some of these reviews is because they can smell like true believers when they watch this film, so
that's sad, Christopher. By the way, let me just give you my own personal testament to what you're saying. I had I hadn't seen him for the past, oh my God, years. I don't know how many years. And I've saw him at the Chesapeake, Virginia, at the event back in June. And when I saw him, we picked up exactly where we left off in the conversation. I mean, it was like he remembered everything we were talking about, and we picked up. I mean, years. Think about that, Christopher. Years had gone by, and he picked up exactly where we left off. I don't know how. I mean, I don't even know how it's possible, but he did. And so I know from personal experience. And secondarily, and more importantly, the spiritual aspect. Let's talk about that. As you may know, I know Barry and Chris know, I did a lot of very dangerous things for as a profession, as part of my profession. You know, we do as a military spy, we do everything the military does, and that includes some, you know, going along on special operations things, which people can read about in Operation Dark Heart. But and that's just it's just a 2-year period of 35 I did. Anyway, my point being is that Christopher, I think there is something not only magical, but godlike. I mean, I think the man is touched by God. I'm just going to say it. So many of us have a deep abiding faith, and man, you say you have faith. You think there's a spiritual aspect. The left goes nuts, right, Christopher?
Yeah, yeah. You know, there was actually an incredible review. I don't know if this guy's a Republican or not, but you know, he doesn't look like a Republican. It's on YouTube. If you Google the man you don't know reviews, a couple pop up. One bad one. Obviously, this guy doesn't like Trump. Obviously, he has TDS. Then there's another gentleman who, you know, doesn't look like a Republican. He may be, but he gave us a really positive review because he said that this film it's a good documentary because it offers a lot of information that a lot of people don't know. And, you know, I think that, you know, a lot of people are saying we don't show the other side with this film, that, you know, a lot of people are accusing it of being as like propaganda, but we, you know,
you're the filmmaker, you're the artist, you get to pick what you present. I mean, how does that not different? I mean, I don't know.
The irony is that every other film about Trump is anti-Trump, and it's propaganda for them. But when we want to show our side, it's propaganda, you know. But we actually do show the other side, because you can't tell a good story without showing conflict, and conflict is the other side. So every time this man made a move in his life, he experienced conflict from the other side. That's what I'm showing, you know. So I didn't bring in somebody who hates Trump, who's a scholar, who could ramble on for an hour about it. But, you know, we didn't want to, you know. So, but we do show the other side, and the other side is sort of the pushback that he got constantly. If you look at every experience that he's that he's gone through, I truly believe his life was meant to become president of the United States, to fix this country, because all of, you know, his experience growing up in New York made him tough. You know, going through a military school, I believe made him patriotic, and you know, and then his whole business life was to gain those skills needed to fix our economy and to understand business and how other countries have been ripping us off. When you see the movie, you'll see that he's been saying the same things for like 30 years, you know. And then once he entered politics, it was like, you know, just all the demons came after him, and that sort of turned him into this like amazing fighter, like that we had no idea he was. I truly believe that all those things made him who he is and brought him to where he needs to be. And the crazy thing is, it's culminating like right now, and we're gonna know tomorrow. You know, so
well, it's exciting. I mean, I can feel the excitement. I'm gonna hit that in a second regarding kind of where we're at regarding the overall zeitgeist, if I can use that word in the proper context of where we're going. But I want to hit something that you just said, and Barry probably can back me up on this. So one of the things that I know about Donald Trump is when I first met him, I was at Fox News, just hanging out. I had just done a hit with Lou Dobbs. I was standing in the lobby. I had my backpack over my shoulder, getting ready to take the Excella back to Washington. And in walks Donald Trump with his security entourage, just walking in. This is 2015. And I'm standing there talking to Ed Henry, my friend. Hey, we work for Ed, right, Chris? The guy that runs the show.
And Ed, shout out. You know, we should
shout out, Ed.
We should do that thing.
I love Ed.
Okay, this is like the Pee-wee's Playhouse. Every time you say Ed's name, we have to go, ah!
Ed Henry was
do that
my
again.
best. Ed Henry was my best interview I've ever done. He just
Ed's wonderful. Anyway, so
this
Ed
one.
and I, Ed is
It's
standing
my best
there
headshot
with,
I've ever done too.
Yeah. So anyway,
Don't take
so
a
we're
mind yet.
standing here with Ed Henry, and then that knucklehead, the what's his name, the black guy that used to be on there. I always forget his name, and I shouldn't because he's a friend. My God, I'm going to get in so much trouble. He got fired for saying that he was
Juan
afraid
Williams?
of Muslims.
Was it Juan Williams?
Yeah, Juan Williams. Juan Williams.
Oh,
Yeah, Juan.
okay.
So
That makes sense.
Juan is standing next to me. Ed Henry. We're just standing there, just talking in the main News Corp area. Here comes Trump walking by. Says, "Hey guys, I'll catch up with you. Go on." And he shoos off his security and just walks up to us like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" He just starts talking to us, and I mean that's him. And we stand there. And by the way, later Juan Williams mischaracterized the meeting, just saying that you can Google it because Juan. I actually took a picture of Juan and the president. I took the picture of Juan, not a janitor, just saying. I may look like a janitor. As a matter of fact, I'm getting one of those nice, I'm running for office here locally, so I'm going to get one of those garbage vests and wear that tomorrow to the polls when I'm talking to folks. Anyway, I digress again. But back on topic, Trump just walked up, Christopher, and started talking to us. So, Barry, you know Trump. I think it's typical of Trump, right? I mean, that's just who he is.
Well, yeah, that's just kind of like what Chris covers in his documentary. He's just like a regular guy. He loves the regular guys. He loves the police. He loves the construction workers. He loves he's not a billionaire that doesn't talk to the little guy. He loves little guys. He loves everybody. So yeah, he's just that's why people love him. That's why he loves people. So yeah, that's Trump.
Oh,
And that's the thing.
you guys.
Go ahead, Chris.
I want to take you guys back to 2008, as a matter of fact, when and it's been talked about during the 2016 campaign, but forgotten afterwards. Trump took in Jennifer Hudson and her family when they had some issues as well. He's been known to do these nice things for people that he knows, and he's been a great philanthropist over the years. The man's donated a lot to great causes.
Yeah, that's in your doc, right, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, someone said that he literally every morning when he gets up, he goes through all the newspapers and he looks for stories of people that he can help, and any other politician would be, wanting to be on camera and, wanting to be noticed and seen for all these things. He never has taken credit for these things at all. So there's people that he changed their lives, and Google, I believe, is actually trying to get rid of these stories. Like some you just can't find. There was, we heard about certain stories and we were looking for them, and then you just couldn't find them anymore. So it leads me to believe that they might have been removed. But there were so many. There were so many that we couldn't even get into this film. Of course, all the people on the left don't believe that any of this is true. I mean, I think I believe there was one review that didn't even believe that sort of this guy there's a veteran in our film, Don Bouvet, who Trump paid for his chemotherapy. And then I think one literally saved his life. He's crying on camera telling us this story. And I think one review said that they didn't believe any of this. It's crazy, So,
Chris, I'm glad you mentioned this one story that I've always known about Trump, because it goes along with him being called anti-Semitic and racist. There's a story of how when he first took over Mar-a-Lago, that he removed the restriction of not allowing Jews and blacks in, and that was the first thing he said. Well, this isn't happening unless we change this. But so many people don't know that story, and they'll just repeat lies over and over.
That's what I was going to ask, Christopher. What was the biggest reveal or takeaway that you found about Trump doing your research? Because I get the left's never going to believe this because they're so deranged. But what was the biggest point you learned from doing the movie regarding President Trump?
That's a really good question. I don't want to give away the movie about anything that's sort of.
Well, give us a hint so people want to go see it.
I can give you sort of like my personal thing, which was, so I do look at the other side, and I am interested in knowing what the other side thinks. And so, so I had to, when I was making this, I had to read all of Trump's books. I read Art of the Deal. I read, some other
Great
ones
book.
but, my mother-in-law, who's a liberal, handed me a book by Mary Trump. And the funny thing is, I don't even think she read it. But she said she did, but it looked pretty crisp, right? But it's like, so I read it, and I'm reading this thing, and it's obviously she wrote this right when he became president during like his controversy to try to capitalize off of the fact of it, but like.
That's her.
Oh, ouch! But
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm reading.
It's like an Evil Wednesday from the Addams Family.
Breakfast alert again.
I'm reading this book. And it's all this stuff, and I'm like, she's not telling me anything that didn't happen in my family, or it's just like, where's the bombshell reveal of something bad that he did? And I'm reading this book, and I never found it. It was just like a lot of nothing, a lot of pages of nothing. And then I get to the end, and finally the bombshell reveal is that there was a will that was contested. And she's saying that Donald Trump monopolized the will. Well, he's a businessman, of course he is, and we had the same thing happen in my family. Big deal, so where am I going with this? Okay. So my big thing was we did this. Lynn Patton, who works very close with Trump, sort of set up this whole film. And she helped us, get the family. Joshua Michello, our producer at Global Ascension, was sort of the driving force. This was his brainchild. But Lynn Patton was instrumental in helping to get the kids. So when I was flying to Florida to go interview Eric Trump, Don Jr., Lara Trump, Kimberly Guilfoyle, Kai Trump, I remember part of me was like, oh God, what if I don't like these kids? Because I knew I was going to vote for Trump. I'm a Republican. I would vote for him regardless, because I think he can fix this country. But a little personal crisis of mine was, for an instant, I thought of like, what if they're not good people? Then I'm here. I am making a film about their dad, but what happened was, when I met them, they were totally kind, totally compassionate, professional. They showed up on time. Like, when I was interviewing them, it didn't feel like talking points. They just were so intelligent. They had so many things to say, and so fluidly, and just overall, just really good people. And I was like, part of me was like, thank God, because I don't know how I can make a film about the most important person in the world right now and know that, like, through his children, that I don't like him. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
He made
in other
them.
words, Christopher, the kids aren't Hunter Biden. They're not like Hunter
Right.
Biden.
Right.
Well,
Right.
Book didn't have a big bombshell, like you said, but what about Biden's
Right,
daughter? What's Ashley? Her diary had a big bombshell, but the media doesn't
Of
care.
course. No, they actually try to dismiss it, as a matter of fact. Yes.
Yeah, big difference.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe-
he just, you look at the kids and you can just tell that, he raised great children. That says everything about Trump right there. Hunter Biden, like,
Oh, yeah.
he reminds me of like, a spoiled kid, like just, he's probably, I've never met him, but he's probably a total POS, but.
No, well, I've met both men. I've met both President Trump and Joe Biden, and I'll just say it. There's a different feel. You can send. I'm a military case officer. I said I was having a conversation with someone about this over the weekend, and the question was like, "Gee, you used to really do dangerous things for a living. How did you survive?" It's like you kind of go with your instincts. You go with your gut. And when you're around Trump, you feel like I feel a sense of like this guy knows what he's doing. He's a good guy. Biden is evil. Biden is just downright. He oozes insincerity, and so never has there been a greater contrast. I think of two men.
Trump is who won the Fox Bowl, right?
Yeah. So,
did you guys see the film on Clarence Thomas? It's actually a phenomenal,
great film.
Phenomenal film. Amazon took it down. Amazon took down 3 of my movies they didn't like. But
what really? Let's talk about that.
No,
now, why did they do that? Did they give you a reason for that?
Well, one of them was called The Deplorable, so I think they just looked at the title, and but that's the thing. That's the world we're living in. You know, everything. They're not hiding it anymore. Everything is like sort of in your face, and you know, like when I made The Relentless Patriot, I don't think they censored me as much as now. Is like now that I have this film about Trump right before the election, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Like on Facebook, especially, like if I just. And Barry posted something. I have to get to how Barry brought me to these 2 projects, but if I just say, "Hey, check out my trailer for my movie," the Trump one, it's gone. Like the post is just gone immediately, instantly.
I posted it and it was gone 2 seconds. They took it down.
So. They obviously don't want this film that paints Trump in a good light, you know.
Not before the election. No, definitely not. And the funny thing is,
Chris, it's never going to end. It's never.
Now, I do want to bring this up because now let's cross to this because there are some of the Patriots who brought this up, and I wanted to earlier, but I forgot to wait till you guys got here. Saturday Night Live invited Kamala Harris in. She actually took her time out of her campaign. She took time out of her campaign, by the way, not to go to see Joe Rogan. She decided she couldn't fly over there, but she kind of blew off a rally, I believe, in Michigan or something like that, maybe Detroit, to go film a scene with Maya Rudolph as herself, campaigning for herself, as they both traded platitudes during a comedy sketch on Saturday Night Live. You had Rudolph and her, "You got this, girl," and all this, and Kamala with her big smile and the cackle, they're talking to each other and giving each other encouragement. That was a free campaign ad for Kamala Harris. What do you guys think of that? Do you think they broke an FCC rule? Because that's sketchy here. It wasn't necessarily a news program, but it was free advertising.
Yep, it is. I think it is.
It is. I haven't watched Saturday Night Live since the Blues Brothers was on, so
that's when it was funny.
I haven't seen it, but yeah, I mean, I think yesterday weren't they forced to put Trump on for a few seconds to actually rebuttal or say something? I believe.
Well, they
because they were in trouble, I think.
Yeah, but the problem is what's done is done. They have they squeezed him into something else because they had to do it. It was an 11. It was a scramble because they were afraid of getting hurt, and it wasn't as effective. It wasn't impromptu, and it was all kind of That's what happens. It's almost like when you go to a courtroom and you say something disparaging about the prosecutor or the defendant or something to prejudice the jury, and then you say the judge or him has to take it back. They heard it. You can't unhear things. You can't
exactly. Things. Yeah. So NBC. I mean, Saturday Night Live is just like the news. You know, they're obviously biased. So
Chris, are we going to get in trouble because we didn't invite Kamala Harris on our program?
I don't think she'd want to come on, but it might be fun having her on.
Don't say "come on" and Kamala Harris in the same sentence.
So I guess we won't play any Dexy's Midnight Runner tunes, anything like that, right?
Hey-o.
Going back to the Joe Biden for a second. When you watch the Clarence Thomas documentary,
he was
horrible. There's a scene where he's grilling Clarence Thomas. Biden is sort of grilling him, and he's just like, and that's when he had more of his faculties. So it seemed you could just see him more clearly back then, and you can just like the first thing I thought is just like demonic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
this
yeah.
guy is just so compromised by the devil that I know I sound like sort of Robert Mitchum as like a priest, but like no, I mean that's the crazy thing. I have no problem saying the devil because like that's exactly what you're seeing,
Right. And no, these people are by the way, did you know, this is a trivial fact. I don't know if you can fact check me on this, but did you know that Barack Obama is Satan's left testicle? Did you know that? That's not a well-known fact, but it's true. So, but let's get back to Barry. You had a story about how Christopher came to you and how you guys did this. Is that, did you want to cover?
I think Chris had that story. I guess.
Yeah. Let me just, I have to give props to Barry. So Barry lives in New Jersey, close to me in New York. Barry and his wife Shelly and our friends Mandy and Jack from Newsmax, Mandy Del Rio, Jack Thomas Smith. These guys are sort of my sanity living in liberal New York. They keep me sane but Barry introduced me to a producer named Frank Torcha, and who brought.
I know Frank. Yeah, Frank and I are friends.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I had my film The Relentless Patriot about Scott Lebato's story. I had been filming that for 5 years, so we didn't have distribution. And anyways, Frank brought it to Global Ascension, and then Global Ascension sort of self-distributed the movie, got it in movie theaters. That's what led me to the Trump documentary. So Barry, is just a really good example of where we need to be as conservatives. We need to help each other. We need to, because we're all in this together. And you see a lot of people in our circles who have like giant egos. They're so afraid of like sharing stuff and sharing their following and and just like all this kind of stuff. There's competition. So Barry's like the best example of like just pure selfless giving. We help each other. I hope I'm helping Barry also. Barry can speak on that, but because of Barry, this it led me to the Trump documentary, and and just sort of doing these great projects to open people's eyes and learn to love our country again at this crucial time. So I'm very thankful.
Well, we're all for the Christopher. We'd like to have you back. Obviously, we have Barry back often, and we want to have you as a regular because this is something we want to do is get the word out. Obviously, you've got some very effective tools regarding what God has given you to actually help form stories and tell them. So that's something that I actually admire. And then I don't know if you're watching the beginning of the show. One of our dear friends, Chris and my dear friends, Cherie Curry is a conservative. Her husband, Bob Hayes from Airplane, is conservative. And we try our best to highlight the conservatives in Hollywood who are willing to do it. We don't want to out anybody that doesn't feel comfortable. But that's our point. We try to support each other as best we can. And Susan Olsen, we're going to have Susan from, the Brady Bunch. She's she was wearing the MAGA beanie at Whiskey a Go-Go with me, which is like
here on, we were here on Wednesday. Yes.
Yeah, we were getting pictures like just, doing the Hollywood stuff at 1 a.m. And she says, so hold on a second. I want to pull something out. Okay. And she pulls out her MAGA beanie. It's great. It's like,
now if Bill Clinton said that would be another problem.
Well, that's a different kind of beanie. Just saying, it's a beaner. But I don't want to go down that path this morning.
Barry looks great in his MAGA hat. I love it. I've seen that. I've seen that one a couple times.
I'm wearing my fight shirt tomorrow, election day, so I can't wait.
That's great.
I'm already wearing the suit, so we're in good shape, right?
I'm married to a liberal, so my MAGA hat is buried in the woods in a secret box.
No,
it's like It's like a squirrel buried it, right? Just saying. I don't. Maybe that squirrel buried it, and that's why they're going after the squirrel because they knew where it's at, right, Chris?
Well, speaking of that,
it's in Prospect Park. I've got a little map to where it's buried whenever I need it.
Getting back to the squirrel, as an old saying, they came for the squirrels, and I did nothing because I wasn't a squirrel. Then they came for the conservative, and there was nobody left.
That's right.
Right.
So anyway, well, God I can't believe it's been an hour. I know the Patriots are always there. He is. Don't tread on me.
That's right. Save the squirrels. You know what? If you don't vote for Trump, you're anti-squirrel.
That's right. That's right. And we always talk about being secret squirrels. We spook. So we take great offense when one of our squirrels are off by the left. So just saying, we don't like that at all. So anyway, but by the way, Christopher, I've heard rumor that if you live in over in certain parts of Brooklyn, Colonial Ridge? Is there
Bay
Colonial
Ridge?
Ridge over there by Bay Ridge? I've heard if you live in Bay Ridge, you have a Bay Ridge, like one of those dealer plates. It's like a dealer frame that goes around your plate. I've heard rumor that if you have a Bay Ridge dealer plate frame, they think you're mafia and they leave you alone. Is that true? Do you know if that's true or not? I've always heard that. I don't want to get into mafia stuff. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I haven't heard of that, but that's great. I imagine it is true because all the Italians are sort of getting pushed that way. They got pushed out of like Little Italy, and then they came to Brooklyn, and they got pushed to Bay Ridge, and then they got pushed to like Staten Island. So I imagine that's the case out there in Bay Ridge.
Well, thanks for playing with us this morning, Christopher. Of course, we've had a good time going through things. So check out the movie, The Man You Didn't Know, because you better know him because you better vote for him. At least that's my opinion. I'm hoping that you all will go out and do the right thing. Also, check out The Relentless Patriot. That's another great movie. Is that on Amazon as well, Chris?
Scott swears a lot, so we had a hard time setting up a streaming deal. But we've sent it to Amazon. We're still waiting. They're taking a long time. They're probably taking until after the election to let us know. But we're looking at other streaming platforms soon. So if you follow me on Instagram, Triple Martini Prod on Instagram, and I'll announce where it ends up.
I'll definitely follow you. And then the Deplorables, is that available? Is that now been censored too?
That was a short film that I made that went to some film festivals. You're gonna have a harder time finding, but message me on Instagram. I'll tell you where that is.
Trooper's available, right, Chris? Trooper's another.
Trooper was a film that I acted in, playing an Iraq veteran.
I saw that on IMDb. Yeah, it's in your IMDb. So,
that's on iTunes. It's on Amazon. It's there's a variety of streaming platforms that picked that up. That was my first film. I look a lot younger, a lot skinnier. I didn't have kids.
We all used to be younger, Chris,
or as many gray hairs. So, yeah,
I know. It's age is inevitable, and we just have to embrace it. So, and then the Clarence Thomas movie, is that still available?
That was not mine. That was what's his name? Barry Peck Pryor? No,
I don't know.
We'll track it down.
It was on Amazon, Netflix.
That one I'm sure you can find. But that was a great.
That's a good contrast to look at Satan's right testicle, Joe Biden, opposed to the left testicle of Barry Obama, because they were like they bumped together a lot, didn't they? It's like it's not a coincidence. Just saying. All right. Well, that's enough about Satan today.
Oh,
we'll leave Satan to Satan's own, and we'll talk about good things. The angel that is Donald Trump, and what's going to happen tomorrow. So. Real quick, Barry, how are you feeling about tomorrow?
I'm feeling really good, but of course, nervous and stressed because I just don't trust the other side. I don't trust the cheating. I don't trust what they're doing with all these illegals. That's why they brought them in. I don't know how many of them are
Fetterman said so. Yeah.
So And I don't know if we should believe the polls that say it's neck and neck. I just pray that's not true. I cannot believe half our country could either hate America this much or just be so stupid to vote for this woman. So I don't know what to believe.
We need to have you come back on that point. As a matter of fact, Chris, let's plan to have Chris and Barry back to talk about
that would be great.
Kamala Harris voters, because I don't get it either. I was in. I mentioned to Chris. I think was this on the air? It all blurs together.
I know. We don't even know what air we're on. Sometimes.
I was at a service station on Pacific Coast Highway going into the valley, getting ready to go over to the valley, and there right behind me is a work truck, a big old white work truck with folks from Mexico. And on the front of their truck was Trump 2024.
Wow.
So I walk up, I said, "Hey, I love that sign." He says, "Oh, yeah, we're fed up." And these guys are all, he said, we're here. We're, just trying to make a living. We're fed up with the California government and the left.
Well, we're hearing that a lot. You see
it's the woke crap. Burgess Owens on a show that I produced a while ago said it best. He said that the idea is a lot of minorities and minority groups and in-great groups were approached by the left, if you will, and said, "Look, we're going to back your policies. We're going to back your movements, your advocacy, but we're going to trade that for socialism. So you have to back us if we're going to back you." And that's exactly the construction of the Democrat Party right now, and the typical Kamala Harris voter at this point. They're accepting the woke so they can have, and socialism so they can have their own basically selfish policies. And one wants to kill babies on a regular basis up to birth or sometimes after. You have the other ones who just want special rights here and there, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
And what is it with the people? Chris goes as the people in Hollywood. They're just so out there. I see them on X all the time. These celebrities, and they're just
Barry,
there's a lot of
people are all bought. They're all bought. I swear to God, they're all bought.
I guess so.
They got millions of dollars. You're going to see it show up on their FCC filings. All these millions of dollars.
Here's, when I started becoming vocal as a conservative, and I have a lot of friends in Hollywood. Here's the interesting thing is that a lot of people did unfriend me on Facebook, but I have a lot of industry people that are still there. They look at what they don't say anything to me, but they're there. So that the crew members, the people that make the movies, you'd be surprised how many conservatives are in there. I'm telling you. So, look, I think part of me feels very hopeful. I think we need to stay vigilant, and not assume that we're going to win. Because I agree. I agree. Just that's the way it works. I was listening to Salem Media, my Christian station. I stopped listening to NPR and all that other crap to hear what sometimes I wanted to hear what they were saying, and then I got to a point.
I listen to NPR just to hear what the other side's saying. I drive around and I tell people I roll my eyes so much I'm rolling off the road and almost hitting people because oh my God, what are you? So bad.
The Christian station said, if Trump doesn't win, that's what God wants, and that's going to be very hard for us to process. If he does win, obviously that's what God wants. But either way, I just don't think we can assume that we're going to win, because then you're giving the universe something.
No, we get it again. So anyway, but yeah, you're right. So anyway, everybody, if you're watching this and you haven't voted, go vote. Go do it now. Well, if you can't. Otherwise, show up bright and early tomorrow morning. Most polls are open early because they want to have you in there early. Stay in line till you vote. Just do it. Just do it. So that's the thing to do, right? So, right, Chris?
Hey, I'm an it doer, so yes. So just do that.
Just do it. We got to go. Man, we're in overtime. I know, Patriots. We need more time. I get it. The evil overlord has been informed. Just saying.
Oh boy.
He's paying attention. We'll see what we can do. Anyway, Christopher Martini, have a martini on us. Just saying. Hey, you probably know Dina. You probably know Dina Martin and our friend Dina, right?
I don't know. No.
Oh, you don't. Barry, you should introduce her to Dina Martin. Dina is in our little circle of friends. So she's great.
I would love it.
She's
all
Dean
about
Martin's daughter, and she's wonderful. So
Absolutely.
yeah, because she was in our little circle with Tony LoBianco, another great Italian,
Right.
and all of us together. So yeah, she's great.
The Italians are on our page. You know, the Italians are all. With us.
Did you know there's a restaurant in Brooklyn that it's a Italian, I can't remember the name. There's an Italian restaurant, but if you're a lady and you walk in and you say you want a table with a view, they put you in front of the men's room and leave the door open. Did you know that? That's a great restaurant, by the way.
You know, guys, people think I'm like James Caan. People think I'm Italian, but I'm really Jewish.
That's a good Hollywood joke.
Godfather fans get it.
I know. Well, we're all Godfather fans. Well, we got to go. And we're seeing
you guys.
You guys are distracting us here. This is terrible.
Yes.
Anyway, so Patriots, thank you for being here. I can't believe we went through another hour, but we got to go. I got to go do some political stuff next. I got to be on my shift for my neighbor Lori Buckout, who's running for Congress. I got to be on my shift in the office starting at 11. Anyway, Christopher, again, check out The Man You Didn't Know. It's a great.
I don't know. The Man You Don't Know.
The man you don't know. Well, I didn't know him, but now I know him. So there you go.
There you go.
There you know him. The man you don't know. You don't know what you don't know, so go know. You go do what you need to do. Go do the voodoo that you do.
Only the nose knows.
That's right. And then obviously check out Barry. Go to Facebook. I just saw Barry. I saw your post on there, so we'll be cross circulating.
Sounds
we need,
good.
as you said, Christopher. We need to work together. James, wasn't that Chris who said that? If we surely, gentlemen, we all hang together, or else we will hang separately later.
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
It was in a few movies, for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, thank you.
Movie.
That's right. So oh my God.
He's just
all right. On that high note, we're going to sign off now, Patriots. Anyway, we'll see you all again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Be there, be square. Or be square. I'd rather have you be there. Big day tomorrow. We're going to be going through the election. And then on Wednesday, again, we get Susan Olson, our friend Susan, and Angie Wong's going to be doing the color commentary. So we got a big
Josh will be with us too, yes.
Yeah, it'll be fun. All right. And again, in the meantime, gentlemen, thank you for being here. We'll see you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See you guys.